October 2025 Visa Bulletin. What applicants need to know. October is not just another month in the U.S. immigration calendar. It marks the beginning of a new fiscal year, and with it comes one of the most important resets in the visa system. For many applicants, October offers renewed opportunity, whether you're waiting on an employment-based green card or navigating the complex family-sponsored categories. This year, the changes are particularly significant, and understanding them could make the difference between months of waiting or taking a major step forward in your journey. Employment-based categories. What to expect. Let's start with the employment-based categories, where October usually sets the tone for the entire fiscal year. For EB1 applicants, particularly those from countries not facing heavy demand, the outlook is strong. EB1 remains largely current, meaning many individuals with approved petitions could move ahead without delays. For EB2 and EB3 applicants, especially worldwide, October is offering cautious forward movement. We are not talking about dramatic leaps, but even modest advancements represent meaningful progress after long periods of stagnation. EB4, which had been facing severe restrictions, is also reopening this fiscal year, giving long-stalled applicants new hope. But there's also a note of caution. The Department of State has already signaled that demand is extremely high in certain categories, especially EB2 and EB3. That raises the possibility of retrogression later in the fiscal year. In other words, while October provides forward momentum, applicants should remain aware that visa dates could move backward if usage exceeds expectations. Family-based categories. Small steps, big meaning. For families, October traditionally brings a reset as well. The most encouraging news is in the F2A category, which covers spouses and children of permanent residents. This category is expected to lead the way with visible forward movement. Other family-sponsored categories may only see modest changes, but even incremental progress is critical for families who have been separated for years. October matters because the Visa Bulletin essentially starts fresh with the annual allocation of visa numbers. That means families who have been stuck in line may suddenly find themselves a step closer to reunion. It may not be dramatic progress across the board, but in the world of family immigration, even a few months' advancement can change lives. The dates for filing question. One of the most important unknowns this October is whether uscis will authorize the use of the dates for filing chart. This decision could have an immediate and transformative effect. If the filing chart is opened, thousands of applicants would suddenly become eligible to file their adjustment of status applications. The practical impact of this cannot be overstated. Filing doesn't just put your application in line, it unlocks interim benefits. That's why so much attention is focused on this question as the October Bulletin approaches. The risk of retrogression. Of course, October's optimism comes with a reminder: retrogression remains a real possibility. In high-demand categories, especially EB2 and EB3, heavy usage can cause priority dates to move backward later in the fiscal year. This has happened before, and it leaves many applicants frustrated when progress is reversed. This is why October is considered such a pivotal month. The forward movement now may be the best window of opportunity for some applicants. If you're eligible, the time to act may be sooner rather than later. Preparing documentation, consulting with legal advisors, and monitoring official updates closely could make all the difference. Why October matters more than any other month. October has always been seen as the most important month in the immigration year because it sets the baseline. Visa numbers reset, categories adjust, and the Department of State outlines its initial allocation strategies. What happens now determines the pace and direction of movement for the rest of the fiscal year. Applicants should not underestimate the significance of this. While other months bring gradual adjustments, October is when the system recalibrates. For employment-based and family-based applicants alike, it's the single most important checkpoint in the year. A real-world perspective. For many families and workers, these updates aren't just policy shifts, they are deeply personal. Imagine a worker in the EB2 category who has been waiting years for a green card. Even a few months of advancement can mean the difference between being able to file now and securing work authorization, or waiting another year in uncertainty. Or consider families separated across borders. For them, a modest improvement in the visa bulletin isn't just a technicality, it's the hope of being reunited sooner. October brings both anticipation and anxiety because so much depends on how these categories move. Long-term outlook for applicants. While October's bulletin provides immediate guidance, it's also important to think about the bigger picture. Demand for U.S. visas continues to rise, and with it comes pressure on the system. Unless legislative reforms are passed to increase visa numbers or modernize the system, backlogs will remain a challenge. That's why many are closely watching both uscis policy decisions and potential moves in Congress. Administrative changes can provide relief at the margins, but only structural reforms can truly address the decades-long wait times faced by so many applicants. An added perspective. One often overlooked factor is how global events shape demand. Economic conditions, political instability, and workforce needs in the United States all play a role in visa usage. For example, industries like technology and healthcare continue to push for more employment-based visas to fill shortages. These pressures influence how quickly categories move and whether retrogression becomes inevitable. In other words, immigration policy doesn't exist in isolation. It's tied directly to broader global and domestic realities. Summary of October 2025 Outlook. Let's quickly recap the key points. EB1 remains largely current, offering strong opportunities for advancement. EB2 and EB3 show cautious forward movement, but retrogression risk remains. EB4 is reopening, giving hope to long-delayed applicants. Family-based categories see modest progress, with F2A leading the way. The biggest unknown is whether uscis will authorize the dates for filing chart. October is the most important month of the year, setting the direction for everything that follows. For applicants, the message is clear. This is the time to stay informed, stay prepared, and act quickly if your category moves forward. If you found this breakdown valuable, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to US Visa Intel for detailed updates and expert insights on every development. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.